I was smashed to pieces basically. I remember when I took his back, the full room was spinning when I was on his back. The full room was spinning. Noises were just distorted and everything. It was crazy.
So, welcome to the Confidence Credentials Couch, Cal Pacino and Nick. It's great to have you here. We're going to start off with the question that we ask everybody: is what does confidence mean to you?
Confidence means to me more so. I would say it's more of a mindset for me. Like if I feel like in my circumstances, like whenever I'm confident, I feel like things seem to come together well for us. Like it's say for instance, like if I'm competing, I'm confident in myself because of the work I've put in leading up to that, to know that everything else is already in the background, already done. So when I'm confident, I have a different kind of approach to things. You know, I'm looser. I feel like I flow, like I'm much more of a flow state. I feel like when I'm confident, everything else just ties into it. You know, I feel like my cardio is never questioned. You know, there's no little doubts in the back of my mind because of the hard work I've done, which then instills more confidence in myself. So confidence for me it's essential. I think for everyone it's essential. I think like if you can do something that makes you a confident person or makes you more confident, I think you should try and approach them things and do them more often. As I say, it's something that you build in yourself. You know what I mean? Someone else is not going to make you confident in yourself or your abilities. I think it's something you have to research for yourself and find the things specifically for you individually that's going to gain you confidence. So for me, training hard and being in a good headspace is what also builds the confidence. You know what I mean? Giving myself just tasks, setting little things for myself to do, just any way I can, just to try and instill more belief in myself, and that just goes hand in hand with confidence. So confidence is key, honestly.
I think there's a theme in this sort of talk from what we're seeing with some of the guests on. You talked a little bit about preparation there in confidence. You know, I can imagine, you know, we've all been in a situation where we haven't prepared enough, and guess what? We've fallen down, we've not achieved the goal that we set out to do because we haven't been fully prepped. But it's that self-belief as well.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And that leads us on kind of nicely. This is what I'm really excited. We've been knowing each other now for about 6 years or something like that, and I've kind of seen so many changes in your fighting career, and I'd really like to get deep into your fighting career. So from where it all started, the different formats of fighting as well, and then a bit later on we'll move on to where you are now. But in terms of fighting, where did it start? I mean, was this something at school? Was this something like a bit later on in life? Yeah. Was this literally just knocking somebody out in the street? How did it come around?
So it's a model thing really. So for me, I never had anybody in my family who'd ever fought. I didn't really have anybody, not as in the local field, because obviously I had family and stuff, but I mean, like in regards of like an idol of someone who I could like look at and aspire to want to be like, you know. And for me, that came from watching old boxers, you know. I used to watch old boxing fights and stuff, and I always I don't know what it was, I could picture myself being the person in there with the bright lights on them, and I just thought like, because obviously when we were a kid growing up as well, especially growing up where we did, you know, there was fights all the time and stuff like that, and there was trouble, and then I just felt like, you know, to see the people who were going out there in front of the lights, I just used to think like imagine how this is more confident, how insane that is for somebody to be able to put themselves under that kind of pressure. And I used to look at them and see how cool they were doing it, you know, and I used to think like, because that was, to me, it was mind-blowing, you know, I think someone could be that confident in themselves and their ability to go out there and how much pressure they're putting themselves under. And I just used to vision myself being that person. And I used to think like, I used to have put photos of Muhammad Ali on my bedroom wall and stuff, and I ended up getting this T1 punch bag, and I got that up in the room, and I just used to train on that by myself, you know, and just used to want to be this thing. And it was like, it was an escape for me, you know what I mean? Because I would try my hand at things and I would be alright at them, but I could never really do it, you know. I wasn't really bothered about it, and I was in trouble all the time in school, all the way through, like all the schools I was in. I was always in trouble, and it wasn't a nice place for it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the whole structure of it all. I used to felt like trapped, like I was stuck in a repetitive repetitive pattern, and it was the control aspect. I used to feel like trapped by it, and I had loads going on in my personal life as well, coming through, that so I just struggled with it all. And then I ended up hearing about the boxing gym when I was young, when I was at a comprehensive school. And I went down one night. That was it. I went down. I took myself down. One of my friends who was in my school was training there, and I went, and it was crazy. Like I'd never done anything. I had a couple of daft fights as all kids do, but it was never really like anything like that. And I went there, and we were training, and then it was like, I remember being like sat in the changing room, terrified, anxious, thinking people were talking about my shoes and stuff like that. And I remember it all so clearly, you know, like it's crazy. And it was just a mad thing. And then old Cliffy was one of the coaches there, and he was I just got me in sparring straight away. I didn't even have a gum shield. I'll never forget it. I got the kicking in my life from this kid called Billy. He was twice the size of us, and punched the living daylights out of us. And I remember sitting in the change room wanting to cry, thinking I'm never ever going to force myself to do this again. It was like a terrifying ordeal that I put myself through. And I left, and I just remember feeling like a coward, you know. And I got home, I just remember feeling like weak and feeling like, I don't know, because you have this impression of yourself until you go and do something like that, and then you realise like how actually vulnerable you actually are. And then for me, it was like a wake-up call. So it was like, I'm gonna force myself to do this. So I got a hold of it. So what happened was I then forced myself to go back, and I was back, and then I didn't stop. And then I ended up fighting straight away, and then I won 9 straight off the belt. And then I lost my 10th. I actually ended up fighting one of my friends. And it was weird. It was like I wasn't even at a fight. That was the first time I lost. I won a national title before that 10th fight, and then I lost my 10th, and then I went on another stint of winning fights. And it was just something that I got hold of it, you know. I just took over, and then all the stuff that I was doing at home for me, and all the trouble I was getting into, and all the people I was hanging around with, kind of like dwindled off. And it would come back in and dwindle off, but for me, it just became an escape. Like I wasn't bothered about school at all. Academically, I didn't care. Like for me, I was doing something that most of the people in school would want to be doing as young lads, but didn't have the confidence to do it. And then that's me who put myself in them uncomfortable situations and forced myself to do it, and then was getting traction and doing well from it. So we just became a part of it. And then I did that all the way through school, and then I did that. I continued to do that when I left school. And then that's when I started training in other aspects of martial arts, you know, like I started grappling and stuff. But for me, that was the start of it, you know. That I ended up, as I say, I think it was 12-year-old when I walked in the gym, you know, and I'm still training now. I'm 32 now, and I had a layoff period where I lost the plot a bit, and I got in and I met some amazing people, some of the people I'm still super close with now, and I just ended up just skateboarding and travelling around and just living without stress for a little while, you know what I mean? I've lived all the way through, and then when I hit 20, I turned pro in professional MMA when I was 20-year-old. And then I had 4 years off, almost 4 years off cap there. And then I came back and kept fighting again, you know what I mean? But the start of the whole thing was obviously just by some miracle finding a boxing gym that was not that far from the house. It was only Barnes Junior School. I used to live near the Green Mills, so it was 15-minute bike ride or whatever jog, you know what I mean? So it was on my doorstep.
I love that. Just going back on how you got into it, and just looking at it like Muhammad Ali and boxers like that, who were probably boxers in my opinion, and just visualising yourself with the bright lights. So to have that, I mean, I would imagine that would give you the confidence to step into that first gym before you got your first pummeling. Right. Because I can't imagine. I mean, that takes some mental strength to do that. Like
the first time, I'll never forget it, like Simon. So the first time I ever had my first fight, right? So I remember training, getting ready, did my medical license, got all the way prepared, ready for this fight. And I remember it was at the Ramside Hall Hotel, my first fight. I fought a kid from Wallingport who'd already had a couple of fights and won them both. Stoppages as well. He was a bit heavier than this. It was the first time in my life that I met my granddad, because he was a comedian and he was doing the event. It was the first time in my life I met my mum's dad, Bobby Knoxall. He was a comedian, and he was the one who was doing the MC of the show. He did a set at the interval of the thing, and that was the first time I met him. And I remember everything was fine until I got to the venue, and then I seen the guy I was fighting, and then it was crazy. I remember this feeling that come over us, and I'll never forget it. I still remember the smells, I still remember loads of the scenarios that were going through in the change room, warming up, everything about it. And the crowd that was there, and I remember thinking, like, I wish there was somewhere now that my dad could come in here and get me and take me home, because this, I do not want to be here. I remember being terrified. I remember thinking, if there's anything I could do now in my life, it would be anything other than this. And that's a God's honest truth. And I remember I was terrified. And watching the kid I was fighting warm up and seeing how heavy-handed he was, even though one of the kids. I was only 38 kilos or something. I remember how heavy-handed he was when he was hitting the pads. And I remember being terrified. And then as soon as I walked into the crowd, everything changed. You know, as soon as I got in there, I remember just getting in and just feeling it was like a dream. It was the smells and the lights and the canvas felt and seeing everybody there. It was like an everybody experience. And I remember the fight started and he come over super aggressive with non-stop combinations. And I remember taking the brunt of them on the gloves and I remember swimming them through. Boom, boom, black flash straight away, like so heavy-handed. And then I ended up getting out the corner and then I ended up picking them off. And then once I got past that first exchange and settled down, I ended up boxing his head off. I had a close fight. It was a cool fight, but I won and I got best boxer of the show. I got the Bobby Drew Memorial Trophy because one of the families in the club had just recently died. And I got best boxer of the whole show on my first fight for Sunderland BBC on their home show. And it was the same show I met with Grandad, and it was just the craziest thing I'd ever experienced in my life. And then,
so did you end up having a relationship with your Grandad?
So I spoke to him a couple of times. Obviously, I speak more to his sons now than I did him. But I did. I met him then. Spoke to him. He was with one of my uncles there, my mum's brother. Had a bit of crack with him then, and then I never seen him again until it was my fourth fight, and he was there with other family members, but not for me. They were there to just watch the boxing show. And I spoke to him a bit then. I only had a few brief encounters with him in his life, but as I see, I'm close with Brent and Ryan and a couple of the others like who were his sons. You know what I mean? I'm a lot closer with them because obviously they were closer to my age, and I still see them. Obviously, my granddad passed away a few years ago now. But I just will never forget it. It was a crazy experience, and I've had plenty of them since. But that one was a real special one because not just for the fact that I'd done something like that, like the fact that I did it off my own back and dealing with everything what I was doing in my personal life, and then doing something as positive as that, and actually trying to do something that I felt like I was like succeeding in, you know what I mean? So it was a massive thing, and I learned loads about myself, you know what I mean? I learned like how game I actually was and how much I actually could put myself through. So that just stayed with us for the rest of the time competing. You know, it's still there now. I feel like I've still got the same mindset now. You know, I'm never turn a tough challenge down, and I pride myself on that fact. You know, so and I think all that just the confidence again. As I'm using that word again, I think I've instilled that in myself because of the uncomfortable situations I've put myself in and the scenarios that I've had to endure. You know what I mean? There's not many people who's had as many fights in as many places around the world as I have now, and has done as much stuff like that as I have, and that's a cool thing. And I feel like that's why, as a coach now as well, I feel like that goes hand in hand with that because the guys who are training under me and watching me still compete now are seeing me take these risks, seeing me proving my worth every time I'm out there, and seeing my mistakes as well, because then we all learn as a team from it collectively. So that's why I'm not afraid to take the risk and take some tough matches or big opportunities, because in the end of the day, even though it's me in there, everything that happens in these matches, I can then break down with the team and they can all learn from my mistakes, and it just develops everyone else ahead of time. You know, they can live through me making mistakes in my career and my job learning all the way through, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to like basically mirror that back for them as well.
I think also as well, like I kind of get it with the whole school thing, because I left school I think with one qualification, but like I seem to do all right in the first few years of secondary school, and then the last couple of years I was just into sport and other things, and I just completely lost interest. You know, so like and then just different career move. But I certainly think for certainly like the younger guys who are kicking around as well, to like understand that you don't have to just go down that route. There are other things, and you moving into boxing and then MMA and then seeing what you're doing now with Jiu Jitsu as well. I don't know much about that period that you talked about before with the skateboard, and all I've ever seen is some of the photos on Instagram, and I'm like, tell us about. So what you stop boxing?
So when I was 17, I just fell out of love with the sport. You know, I felt like I was moving in another direction the way I was. I felt like give it a lot of time, and I just felt like other factors were coming in, politics and stuff. And for me, it was something that I did and I loved as a hobby, and I loved the way everyone was with each other and the trips away with the lads. And it was just the vibe. It was amazing. And then I felt like the older I got, the more it became like less of something that I was doing as a hobby and become something more that I felt like was expected of us. And when that became the place, and then I wasn't fully committed, and that the things were happening, or I was losing. I lost the junior year final. That bashed me plug in for a while, and then I came back, and then I fought Scottish International, and then I won that fight, and then they didn't give me the decision, and it happened. It was a couple of times in my career, and I thought, you know what, I'm grinding myself into the ground here, and things have gone knock on the way, and then people's opinions of me were changing, and they were questioning like how hard I was training and stuff like that, and it just became a bit too much. So I just left. I took a little bit of time off, and then I just took a little bit of time off, and what happened in that time off was Tony Jeffrey's dad was opened a gym in the Olympian, and I was just going there. People I could use the gym to keep fit. So I was just going in there, and I was just hitting the bags and stuff, and what happened was my old coach had actually opened a small little room in the back of the Olympian to teach martial arts in MMA. And one of the lads who I lived in my street was going to a couple of these classes, and I used to see it. And I knew what it was because I'd obviously watched the UFC on the TV with Gambia at night when we finished working, actually, as I'd still watching the early UFC within. And it was something that I always fancied, and then obviously watching Never Back Down, the film Never Back Down. I watched that and I just thought, you know what it is, like, I come from a striking background, I was watching them, and I just thought, you know what, I'd love to give that a go. You know, I think it's not really happening with boxing. I'll call into one of these classes, and the first night I was there, and we were grappling with a few different people, and then from being where I was as being an open class boxer who was fighting anybody in the country at the time, whatever level, like fighting some of the best kids around and winning some of them as well. And I had a good winning record as an amateur boxer. I had a national title under my belt. You know, I did some decent stuff. With a good winning record and beat some really good guys. So to come from that to then this, and then having no clue at all about it, it was either going to breakers or makers, and for me it was makers. You know, I felt like for me coming from that and having the mindset I had, thinking I could do what I did, and then to feel that and be so vulnerable and realise it, it was just as if it was switching off my head, and I was like, I need to be the best at this, because I could never let anybody do this to me out there. Because you have an opinion of what you would do in a fight until somebody actually who can control you controls you. And it's a shock to the system to understand that you are actually as vulnerable as you are. And for me, it was just the biggest wake up call ever, because I just thought, you know what, like, I need to be the best at this. I need to learn this, and I need to be just a step ahead of everyone. And it was an addiction that just took all of this. And then I ended up fighting MMA straight away just before I turned 18. And then 18, 19, 10, 20, I turned pro straight away. And then from me, as I said, it was a hobby, and it was something that we did. The gym became more and more frequent. I went more and more classes, and then when I turned pro, it was like same again thing, like become a hobby that it then became a job, and I felt like the pressure was having to turn up and having to do things. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's when someone else is telling me that I need to do it. Everything inside us just makes us not want to do it, and it is a problem. Like, it's truthful. this. I'm glad it happened was because I needed that to happen to understand where I needed to go in life. Like, it was a huge opportunity and it was postponed, and we ended up doing it in the lockdown. Like, I was out of shape, I wasn't even training, like, but it had been postponed that long. I was in a position where I was like, well, I'm going to get paid this much money to have a fight. Like, I'm not bothered. I was massively out of shape. I was drinking all the time, taking drugs, smoking cigarettes, just in the worst shape of my life. I was depressed, massively depressed, you know what I mean? I was in a bad way. Struggling with money, obviously, to keep the kids, everything, and where we were, there was no, obviously there's nothing happening in the world, there was the lockdown. And this was an opportunity for us to be able to keep the family afloat, and it's something that, obviously I lost my mum after a long struggle with illness for most of my life, to be honest. But she'd been in that intensive care for a long time leading up to this point. And I lost my gran around the same time. And the only thing I had, as selfish as it sounds, even though children weren't enough for us to get us through the time, the only slight thing I had that was taking my mind off the fact of everything I had going on was the fact that I had a fight coming on. So I just used that as the little thing to get us through the grieving process. So all I did was I just pretty much ran the whole time, every day, multiple times a day. I wasn't bothered about training anymore. I didn't want to be there. I wasn't really happy where I was at in the gym. And I was just doing bits of grappling. I was just training with Alice, one of my really close friends. She's still in coach now in Jiu Jitsu. Because I was going there and that was making me feel good about myself. I wasn't bothered about the fight. It's the only time in my life in the fight where I've actually quit. I never quit, I never have. And I remember just the realisation and just as honest as I can be, I ended up in a bad position. I was exhausted, I was drained, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good going out to the fight. I was in the land, I think it ended up being nearly 48 hours quarantined in my room, just me and Ellis. The boys next door to me, the opponent's family and everything. And every time I was bumping in them, it was just aggro and it was just a bad experience. And I just remember everything about it was bad. The preparation, everything. And I was fighting a really good fighter as well at the time. That's obviously nothing taken away from him. He did his job, you know. And after the fight, all the beef leading up to it, I was glad it happened because that was something that got us through the most brutal time in my life, you know. So having that fight there, although it was a shame, like I've never quit. If you watch me fight with Nathan Grayson, I was beaten within an inch of my life, and I got through that, and I still finished him. And this fight there, the first time he got on my back, I was defending the choke. Second time, and I remember lying there, and it was mad. I just remember thinking, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. I don't want to be here. I didn't care. I was just done with the whole thing. And I tapped when he was really, as I say, I had both in hands, but he got any squeezing. He'd already popped my jaw out of there from crushing the back of my face from there. So the choke wasn't as tight as the earlier ones. I was just done. And it's the only time in my life, hand on, that I've ever actually quit in a fight. So that, for me, after that, I was like soul searching for a while. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was doing my career. I was over the whole thing. I went away. I used my last money I had to get some courses. I'm still paying some more now. I moved to Norway to work out in Norway for a little bit to try and provide for my family. And what happened out there was it was just complete isolation in the mountains, and I just lost the plot. I come back when I came home. I didn't feel like I belonged there. I felt like I didn't feel comfortable in my own family, and it was a weird thing. The last thing I did before I left Norway, I hadn't trained in a whole year at all, nothing. Didn't do a single session in a year. And when I was coming towards the end of the time in Norway, the guy who I made friends with, he's recently just died. He was called Jürgen. Beautiful person, just amazing guy. Someone I ended up getting really close to, such a good guy. He said, oh, you should go and check out this place in Trondheim. It's like an hour and a half away from where I was, so I took the road to London. And I went and I trained in this gym in the middle of this mad place in Norway with these cool guys. And they were quite a new gym. And I ended up coaching some of the class with them, even though some of them didn't even speak English. And I left there and just the way it made us feel, like to the way I had been feeling the whole time I was out there, was just, it just made us realise like what I'd loved even the whole time through MMA. The thing I loved the most had been jiu-jitsu the whole time. Most of my wins I came from a striking background. I would catch people and half of my wins I had them choking them, you know what I mean? And that was something that I just loved. And so when I rang Alice straight away after that session, I was telling him, because I texted him when I was in the US, saying I'm going to train at this gym. And I know how much Alice wanted us to be in this gym as well, training with him, you know. And then when I came back straight away, I was like, look, I'm not bothered. What I have to do, what I have to do to make this happen, I'm going to train jiu-jitsu full time. That's what I'm going to do. I didn't care how I'll make it happen. I'm going to do it. And as crazy as this, I've said this before as well. I remember when I come in and I was saying this to Hannah, and Hannah was obviously gutted, not knowing what was going to happen money-wise, and knowing I wasn't going to go back away. In the same sense, I think she was happy as well, because I think it would have been the end of us, because I was really struggling with that. And I remember being stood in the sitting room, and I said to her, I'm gonna compete in Jiu Jitsu full time. I'm gonna fight on Polaris and Grapple Fest, some of the biggest shows in the world. I'm gonna get sponsored. I'm gonna open my own gym, and I'm gonna start an event. And I've done every single one of them. Literally manifested it all. I knew it was going to happen, and this is the truth, God's honest truth. I believe in it so much now. Like everything I've said that I'm going to set out and do, I've already achieved already, and it's given us even more motivation to just be bigger and better every time. Like if you could bottle what we had in our gym and people that you could sell, you'll see, like it's the vibe in there and what we're doing for people, and it's just every week it's just like another thing, and it's just like making me just push on. And the results are showing, you know what I mean? We've only been up in 6 months, and if you see how well some of the kids are doing and some of the stuff we've got going on already, you'll see why it's working, for the recipe for the athlete, I feel like finally once in my life, I feel like I have a purpose. And that's, even when I was a professional fighter, I never felt like I had a purpose. I thought it was my identity, but I didn't think it was what I was meant to do. I'm competing Jiu-Jitsu full time. I love it. I still get the same buzz when I go out there. I'm still building my following. I'm still building my brand. I've got sponsored by Progress, which was a dream of mine. I used to see Ellis rolling in Progress gear all the time, and I would tell myself that I would be there with him one day, sponsored on the same team and doing photo shoots with him. And I truly believed it in myself. Even though back then I had some, like they still are, like some of the best black belt BJJ practitioners in the world, and I was just some MMA guy who come in and was just rough around the edges. But I truly believed it, and I've done it. I'm on Progress now. I'm on one of the biggest jiu-jitsu brands in the world currently, and I'm on their team now, and everything I set out to do, I've done and exceeded my expectations, you know what I mean? So I feel like finally once I have actually got a purpose, and it's a good feeling to have, you know what I mean?
It's something that's come through, and I want to ask you. You talked about that terror, when you were feeling terrified in the beginning. I remember like Richard Hartness, when he was in, he talked about, we asked him confidence, and he said, I think confidence comes out, like courage comes first, the courage to do it when you don't know, you don't have the confidence, and then you have the confidence. It feels like that courage was there, but there's times when you decided it's not for you, and then there's times like that fight, the first fight, and these other examples that you're talking about, where you thought, no, I am. And for me, it's how did you know that? It sounds like it's a feeling rather than something like a rational tick box thing. It sounds like a feeling that you knew there was a difference.
Feel and prepare for better feel. Like that's what it is. It all comes down to that. And for me, the times I've knew. I mean, that's not saying that you prepare as hard as you can. Like, it's a game of inches. You go in the shower, you get wet. That's not saying you can prepare as hard as you want. Even against anyone, you can go in there and get kicked and get put to sleep. But every time, if you know you've left no stone unturned, it's harder. It's a lot harder for them little bits of self-doubt to creep into your mind, because it's a constant battle. You've got to think, right? It's, especially in fighting, in any kind of big pressure thing, whatever you're doing, whether it's business, life, fighting, competitive sports, whatever it is, music, could be anything. It's always going to be a mental battle. You're always going to have doubters. You're always going to have people who try and doubt you and put doubt into your mind. But the number one thing is your own mind itself. For me, I feel like when I'm happy and I'm training hard and I feel like I hit that, just that when I'm firing on all cylinders, that's when I feel like for me the confidence is there, and that comes through the hard work and effort. And whereas in times when I've not had that, it's when I've either not prepared properly, or I've been injured, or I've had a horrendous weight cut, which is pretty much 90% of the MMA career is what I've had. When I fought James Gallagher, that was a huge weight cut. I didn't even say to anyone about how severe it was, but when I fought Nathan Grayson, that was equally as bad. When I fought Nathan Grayson, I lost over more than a stone in the bath the night before the weigh-in. And that was without the rest of the weight that I cut through at the fight camp. I lost 3 stone or something in that fight camp. I came down from 85, 86 kilos with tits and cellulite to fight the number one guy in Euro Cage, where he's world champion, who just I'd highlight reel knockout against a world class fighter. It was Dex talking to be in the UFC at the time. And I was fighting him, and I'd come back from come back because I was training in Sweden. I went out training in Sweden. Came back there, and I still had a bad injury in my shoulder. I ended up getting concussed in sparring. I think it was the week out from the fight, and then I was still nursing a bad injury from one of the fights in South Africa that I'd travelled through. So I still feel it now. I ended up in a horrible position where I got my shoulder ripped off. I still ended up winning the fight, but it's left as an injury there. That'll be there forever. And as I say, it's just same again. I had a huge weight cut. I came back from there. Normally, I would say to myself, if I'm 70 kilos, 7 days out from the weigh-in, and I fight at 61.2, and if I've got, let's say, a stone, just over a stone to lose that week, I know that's doable. And I can do that without affecting myself too much. And I pretty much had that to do the night before I fought Nathan Grayson. I was 68.9 on after starving myself horrendously as well for this whole time. Like, not even safe levels of just like starvation, trying to do what I would do. Just tiny little meals and over-chewing so they would digest more. Drinking, and then I was doing 10 litres of water, hyperhydrating my body, did a humongous weight cut. Same tunnel vision when I was walking on the scales, like literally black rings around, I couldn't feel breathing, it was horrible, everything just horrendous, and then to have to push, so I did as many battles as I could the night before the game, and the same again on the morning of the game. Killing myself.
Your energy levels, bro.
Shot
must be like
shot the floor. And then to fight the most jacked killer you could imagine, Nathan Grayson, who's got muscles upon muscles, and seeing him now, his dreadlocks out of the way, and it's just looking absolutely terrifying. That's in the back of my mind as well. He's a savage knockout puncher, high level knockout, one shot kind of guy, super explosive knockout power. Seeing him knocking out really high level kids, and then feeling where I was feeling, had the worst weight cut ever. Ruined myself beyond belief. Fighting injured and then fighting with a concussion from the sparring session that I had the week out before I started the week. I remember being backstage there wanting to cry, feeling about my daughter, just being in the most darkest place ever, behind the curtain, not wanting people trying to talk. It was just feeling not even want to entertain at all, like feeling angry, upset, all emotions, self-doubt trying to come in, and I just remember thinking, just whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to get out there and give it my best shot, but I'm not going to die. That's what I remember telling myself. I'm not going to die.
Did that change when you got engaged?
Was there a point?
So normally, for me, Simon, right? Sorry for cutting you off. Normally for me, it's normally as soon as I walk out from the curtain, as soon as I feel the crowd and the noise there, the whole it's gone. We're in, we're doing it. We're fighting now. Then that's the only fight in your whole life. Where I've got all the way through the walkout, into the cage, heard the crowd, everything, and just the only fight in my life where even still to the point until we ended up fighting I was nervous. I remember looking at his coach, I remember watching him coming out, getting in, and I remember just shaky legs, everything terrifying, none that I'd sell like 1,000 tickets there or something like that. Army of people in the metal radio arena screaming for us, and just remember just still being terrified until we started fighting, and then I got off to the worst start of a fight you could ever imagine. I got my head elbowed to pieces, got my eye busted open, got my head smashed in, and then I took his back and choked him. And if there was ever a time I was going to quit, that would have been the fight with you. 10 times over. You know what I mean? And I didn't quit then, and even the fights Jacobs one in South Africa, I remember that one where he had me batting his elbows in the head and split my head open. Even that one, I never felt any of that. Not 1 second of that fight, even when I was in that position, when I was getting hit with them shots and black flash and I'm seeing the blood everywhere. Not once did I not think I was going to win that fight ever. Not even in them bad times. And that one with the Nathan Grayson one, like, it was just. I had a plan what I was going to do. I did believe I could box for him, but I knew that would be his best chance of being able to beat us if he caught us with a stupid shot on the way, just throwing his gloves and fighting knockout punch. It's not like taking a normal shot. You've got a good chance of getting slept if someone lands a clean one in that sport, you know what I mean? It's little rocks on your hands, you know what I mean? So for me, my plan was to just really get up to the fence. I knew I had a gas tank, although I had a massive weight cut. That was in the back of my mind. Am I going to be able to push the ceiling up because I'm not affected massively how much water I've cut? Am I going to be able to work this guy because he's a specimen, he's a cardio machine as well. Super explosive, so my plan was to push him to the fence, get him down the fence line and box him up on the floor, get him tired and eventually try and submit him. And when I shot in, I didn't expect to take him down. I half took him down, we framed on the head, and that's when we just started unloading elbows and punches just at my garage for about 4 and a bit minutes till I was smashed to pieces basically. I remember when I took his back, the full room was spinning when I was on his back, the full room was spinning. Noises were they started and everything was crazy. Just mad experience that I'll never forget, you know what I mean? But even talking about it now, that's what I mean, I'll always have that. Because when I think about it, when I talk about it, I just feel like that's why I love jiu-jitsu so much, because I can feel this every week, and I can do this till I'm dead, you know what I mean? I'm going to do this, even if I have to be in a wheelchair, I'm still going to try and get out there, you know what I mean? I love it, it's what I need in my life, and it's the only time in my life when things have fell apart is when I'm not at the gym, and that's the truth. So for me, it's a saviour for me.
Well, there's a bit I want to go back to, because we did a photo shoot last year in Brisbane, I'll never forget it, and I want to, you know, we both had close losses in our family, and like I know it deeply affected you. Was there any point when you lost your mum and you lost your gran where you just thought, I'm just done with everything, never mind anything, and it just, and I know you've got the little ones and you've got Hannah, you know, and sometimes, like, I've been in these positions before, it doesn't matter who you've got around you. Did you ever get to that point?
The whole time, till about 6 months ago. This one in a long time. I genuinely feel like I've had a purpose now, since I've done this, and since I've got people under my tutelage and learning from me. Like now I finally see, and I know that now this is building up for my future as well, because not only see when it is all said and done and I'm not competing, I'm still going to be a coach, but I can live through everyone else's successes and I can still be a massive part of their journey. So for me, seeing, like even every single day, I'll teach a session, this is Coach on the Street, and every single day I'll get a message, at least one from the squad, about telling us like how much they love being a part of the team and what it's doing for them. And obviously as well with the men's mental health thing that we're doing as well, I'm seeing a massive, just changing people from that as well. It's something that I feel like for me, it's a really like, it's just a warm thing, you know what I mean? I get it's such a good thing for me to be in a position where I can actually do something for other people as well. And I think like even on my fight now, I always try to be that person, you know, kids with messages. I always try my best to get back to everyone. I've sent people rash guards signed, I've done all sorts of stuff like that. You know, I still keep in touch with loads of them now, where loads of people who've had like alcohol problems and stuff like that. I still talk to people like that all the time, and I feel like now as well with this, it's just that extra little thing, and I feel like that's one thing that I pride myself on. You know, I feel like I am that kind of person, and to finally be in a position to help more people, it's a really, really special thing. As I mean, like, I feel like it's given so much more purpose and just motivation for myself to be better. You know, I want more for myself always, you know, and just to benefit everyone else.
You've been through those life experiences. I think the first time I felt that when I was getting a lot of messages was when I went sober, when I had the 3 years sober. And the messages that were flooding in was unreal from guys and women, to be fair, who were just really struggling. You know, I admire the fact that you've done that, and because I just had clarity all of a sudden. The things just changed like overnight. But then you get this realization of like, you know, like how many other people are in this position, and they don't really know how to overcome that, and we get it. I still get it still regularly now. I have been drinking for about 6 months again, but actually that's 12 months, and it's completely different. But even guys, you know, with us we're close, we're confident. So when you get those messages, you go, okay, this is more my purpose. And I know, like, we sell clothes, but that's not my purpose. My purpose is making sure guys feel confident, they feel great. And when you're hearing messages like that as well, so talk me through, because obviously I've been following the club, you're setting that up and what you're doing. You're doing some great things as well with the guys, not just obviously on the jiu-jitsu side, on the mental health side, and you've just set the club up as well on Sundays, is that right?
Yeah, so every Sunday at 9 a.m. The reason why I came around, Simon, was like, not to mention anybody's names or anything like that, but for me, you see time and time again, people come into the gym, and it's not like other gyms, you know, they'll come in, and as soon as they come in, they realise what kind of place it is, and the respect everybody gets, and I've been in gyms my whole life, and for me, I feel like I've finally learned a way to really make an effort and change people's views. So when they come in, I feel like they're immediately made to feel welcome, and we'll make a fuss at everybody in the room. You know what I mean? There's no one bigger than anyone. You know, I've got a load of different people coaching in now with this. There's no top dog. Everybody is on their own thing. You know, everyone's got their own keys. Everyone runs with their own way. It's just all about respect, and I feel like people all come in. It's always people. It's usually the same kind of people who's tormented in some way or other. You know, they're just looking for some kind of escape. And for me, I try and make the sessions as just as full of love and joy as we can. And the tunes are pumping, and the vibes are amazing, and everyone's just getting stuck into it, and everyone's there helping each other. That's the difference, you know. People are going above and beyond, actually look after each other in the gym and outside of the gym. I feel like once people are connected to that, they realise like how supportive the gym actually is. And one of our guys the other week was he went off, and he was really unhappy. He had loads going on in his own personal life, and he was in a really bad way. And I'm not going into too many deals, but he was really at the end of the way, you know. We ended up going out and we found him, and I just know what the gym does for him and his life and his circumstances. So I just thought, you know what, if this can work for one of our lads and it's working for me and it's worth making, those are the people in the gym that's their safe haven, let's say, in their place to go to get rid of this. Why didn't I do something that's got nothing to do with training, but it's in the same place where all this energy and all this positivity is anywhere, and the people there now, because I see the vibe, I know what it's like, and everyone who comes is immediately just on that same wavelength, because if they're not, they wouldn't, you know what I mean? You feel it straight away as soon as you come in. I thought, the gym's the place to do it. I'm finally in a position where I'm making a little bit of money. I'm not a millionaire, not, but I'm paying my bills, you know what I mean? So that's all I care about. So I was like, well, what's a little bit of extra? What's a couple of kettles? What's a bit of biscuits and some coffee in that every week? And we'll put it free of charge for life. We'll put a couple of ice baths out of the backyard, and we'll just do it. It's costing us nothing to do it, really, you know. And even if nobody came for 6 months and one person came and it made a difference to one person, then that 6 months is completely worth it. So that's the mindset of it. I'll be in the gym anyway. Watch one more early morning, you know what I mean? It's not even early morning anyway, really. You know,
I like that, because it's like, I mean, it sounds like that kind of environment where it doesn't matter what you do for a living, how much money you've got, what possessions you have, you know, big, small, flipping, whatever, and it's like extremely inclusive. And it has to be, for that kind of thing, not to work, but like to be right. It has to feel that way. It has to feel welcoming. Especially when we've talked a lot. We have. There's a lot of common things come out throughout this, and I think guys find it like really hard sometimes when they're lonely, sort of coming to an environment like that around other people. Just will give them the confidence when they walk out there as well.
Definitely, it's I feel like people come in and I can speak first hand. I've been in loads of different gyms my whole life, and I just know personally that it's just different. Man. It's different the way everyone is. Like it's not even like it's just one thing. It's a collective. Everybody's there and everybody's checking in, and everyone's genuinely caring and what we've got a group and stuff like that, and everyone's just on the same wavelength, and it just every time it goes, it's just another layer of that, you know what I mean? So it's inevitable the way it's gone, you know what I mean? It's such a cool, warm, welcoming place, and that was exactly why I just thought, you know what, nothing's happening on the Sunday morning anyway. Most people will be off. Why not come along and just have a little men's weekend where we'll just have a little bit of crap on the Sunday morning, easy going, no pressure, there's no bitching, or that show. We'll just come in and just, even if you don't even speak, you can just sit in, have a coffee, chill out, just have a bit of crap with the lads. That's the
way. Sunday as well, just from experience, like I've really got to change my mindset on Sundays, and we're probably all the same. If you go to work on the Monday, and you know how we're feeling on that Sunday night, a Sunday, you know, it's a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that you can put yourself in a positive mood for the rest of the day, even though you've got work next day. There's your week off to a good start straight off the bat.
Yeah. I bet you see a difference with not just guys. There's obviously, like you say, the girls are coming in as well. Like from kind of going back a little bit to when you first went to that boxing gym. I bet in a short space of time, within them 6 months already, you know, you're seeing some characters being built in there.
For sure.
Just being around the likes of yourselves.
Yeah, there's a massive change in people. people straight away. I mean, like, in the women as well, obviously I've got a ladies coach, Josie, she's really good, she competes a lot as well. She's such a nice person as well. She does a women's rowing class on the weekend as well, so on a Saturday. I think that's really cool. I don't let anybody in the gym around that time, just the women. I let them have their own completely secluded time frame where they can just go in there, have the full confidence to know that they've got to pace themselves and just enjoy themselves. I think that's a really good thing to do in there. And she trains full time with us as well. She's in all the other sessions, as are any women have ever been. There's a couple of different ladies there and members now. And they train full time with the men, and then anyone who needs to get changed, there's a woman's changing room there, they can use that alone, you know what I mean? I feel like we are trying to do things as fair and be as equal as we can be, it's because it always has been a male dominated sport, and we love the women who come in and train us, there's some of the brightest members of our room, always happy coming in, bringing the vibe up, and we welcome as many of them that want to come, it's such a cool place, as I say, it is really a cool place, and I hope one time we can come along, call in and watch a session and have coffee out one of the Sunday mornings. And as I say, the doors open anyway. We always let people come in and just sit around the side of the mat and watch a session just to see what it's about. It's good. It's really good background.
Where do you see going? Where do you? I know you touched on before finding your purpose, which I think you've just got to go through life experience. You've got to go through things that you're taking to the brink. Where in your mind now, it sounds like you want that more sort of relaxed. I'm saying it's not a career; it's a business that you're running ultimately here as well. But where would you like it to go for yourself?
I think for me personally, I think why don't we reach for the stars? I truly believe in a few years' time we could be one of the best gyms in the UK. I think that is inevitable. I think if we keep doing what we're doing, and keep pushing the way we are and just always striving to be better. Never perfect, obviously no one's ever perfect, and you never will be, especially in a game like this. There's always something that's going to negate something you're doing, and it's all about experience and getting ready for the next stage. But I just see us being a really big household name in this industry. I know this for a fact that we'll be that. I think just the way we're doing it and the things we're doing and the way we're promoting it and how people are treating, I just think it's inevitable, really. I think we will. And I think we'll probably have a lot of gyms affiliated under us, I've already got one who's under me now in the gym. And another thing as well, this is just how I know we've got a good reach already. I started that men's mental health thing already, 2 gyms, the gym in Ireland and the gym in Bradford, so I've copied and using the same thing, and I think that's amazing. Why wouldn't you want that? It takes nothing to put your hands in your pockets on the weekend for sport. It costs pennies to potentially make a massive change. So I think even that just showing me how much reach we've got and making a difference. I just think we'll be a really good household name over here, and I really truly believe it. I think already we're off to a flying start. We've filmed some amazing stuff in the gym. We've already had a couple of events in the gym as well. And I just see us to just keep building. I think it will be a huge team one day. We already are a massive team. And as I said, it's not even been half a year yet, I don't think. And that's what we can do in that amount of time. Imagine if I'm in this premises area I'm in now for the next 3 years. We're extending it, we're building the floor, adding more mat space. We've already got a huge mat space compared to most people's gyms in the Northeast and most people's gyms in the country, let's say. I just think the possibilities are endless. If the people who are above my place ever move, I'll take that on as well. We'll make something happen. We'd love to have a franchise for one day and have a couple of gyms representing us and more gyms affiliated with their own name. I think that is a massive possibility. What
does success look like with this? What would it, if you, everyone talks about 5 years and stuff like that, and that's too far to look ahead.
Smaller reachable rules.
Yeah. So what is success? What would that mean? Would that mean producing the next champion, the next many things?
Success for me is just to have what we've got now. I feel like this is the start of the successful thing. I feel like the way we are people, there's no pressure on anyone. There's no politics. You can come in wearing someone else's gym's clothes. You can come in, you can compete if you want to compete. We can get you ready for fights and stuff if you don't want to do that. No pressure. Men and women on the match together. There's teams there. We've even got a kids class on the weekend. I just think success is just to keep having what we've already got and keep building that. I mean, success for me is we've already lived it multiple times. I took a squad of 12 people at our first real competition, and we've got 17 medals, and that's kids who's never done anything. Now we've got our teams are competing at adult division and submitting and that, and that to me is success. I'm not bothered about richness and all that nice stuff. It's cool if you've got it, awesome. But that's not my first line of success. My first line of success is having lads come and competing and winning matches. I've got travelling lessons going, like Josie there, she's just travelled away there Saturday, and she's just beat a really tough opponent there, we'll fight with them. That's the way I would see success. Treating people right and building them up, that's success to me. So as long as you stay on this trajectory, it's inevitable.
I don't think we get taught that at school. Treating people the right way. I think sort of have an environment where you can come in and kind of learn all these things as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's fantastic. I'm going to wrap this up. I think we could talk. There's another 10 episodes here. I think in the coming months. There's so many things I don't think we've probably even touched on. The closing question. Bit of nostalgia here. To think back from your childhood. What's one thing that you think of that puts that smile on your face? That nostalgic. It could be a product. It could be anything from your childhood.
Nostalgia for me is still a massive part of my life now. I used to always travel down to Croft in Leicestershire, and I used to camp out in the end of the back garden. We'd have farming trips down there, but I just used to camp in the back garden. I used to love it. You had all the best camping gear, everything. It was just the best thing in the world, For me, I was going down there and just in this massive backyard, that's a huge back garden, ponds and everything. I just used to love it, and that for me was just the best thing ever. So it's still a massive part of my life. I'm still wild camping all the time. I used to take a tent and I stopped, and I started taking hammocks and stopped. And I would just take a tarp and a bivvy bag and I'm away, and I do it all the time. Was it last weekend I was there? Trying to get them, not last weekend, the weekend before I tried to get them last weekend. I'm not bothered, I just all year round, I love it. And that's a nostalgic memory for me. Just being outside, I love it. I don't know what it is about it. I just feel like I need it in my life. And when things get too much for us, or things pile up, which they do very often, because there's not enough days in the week or hours in the day for me to get through what I do. I start morning, I finish late every single day. I've got 3 kids. The only time I get to work, I only private lessons, booking lessons, promote my social medias. It's late at night when I finish. So I never really sleep much. I never have any real, it's even less now. So the only way, when things get on top of us, that's something. Yeah, I know the gym is something that is in the escape. I love it. But it's as well as draining on my body. So a lot of the time, the work side, my classes become the number one priority. Teaching the squad and then the private lessons is we jump aside from that, which I do when I can, and I'm obviously injured and stuff. So that's still an escape in itself. It always will be. I need it in my life. But another escape of mine is obviously getting out into the wild, and it's just stuck with us since being a kid. You can take me, I'll go in any of the outdoor shops, and it's just such a buzz, I can go in and I come out and I've got stuff I'll never use. Every single time. I went to the army shop the other day, I've got pans, pots, whatever you can imagine, trousers, jacket. But I just love it. That's for me, that's my nostalgia memory. And that's what I still do.
I love that. I get it from the last camper van trip I came back from. I haven't got a camper van, I just borrowed it. And I went to go outdoors and bought a stove. All kinds. I haven't got any pans here or anything. I haven't got any gas, but I was like, right, I'm with you. Outdoors for me is everything. Walking, whatever. It's definitely something I need to do more of. I love that. And just one final thing, how will our listeners find you? How will they find the gym? And yourself personally?
Cal Pacino MMA on Instagram, Cal Pacino on Facebook, and our gym is XL Jiu Jitsu on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok as well. And I think even if you're not a fan of Jiu Jitsu or you don't even understand what it is or you've never even heard of it, check it out, have a look, check some of the reels out, and you'll see how it should be an asylum. It's not an academy, it's an asylum, and everybody in there is mental, and everybody in there is amazing, and there's some of the best people you'll ever see, and you can keep up with it all in there and watching you have some amazing acts.
I've got to say as well, we were talking before, I mean, if nothing else, it's pure entertainment, especially keeping your eyes peeled, maybe for the weekend coming. What's coming there? So I highly recommend that.
I'll stick you with that one.
But you're doing some great things. I'm getting goosebumps, you know, like I've followed you for a long time now, known you a long time, and what you're doing with the gym now, it really is like, the mental health side of it and everything else, but you're doing some great stuff. So thanks very much. Really appreciate you coming on, Cal. Cheers, thank you.
Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Cheers, lads.
I hope that you enjoyed the episodes and got something from that. If you did, we would love you to share our podcast.
And if you're not already, subscribe to the show and leave us a rating and a review. That really helps spread the word.
We'd also like to thank our podcast producer, Bernardo, for doing a sensational job.
And thanks to the awesome Logan Nicholson of musicformakers.com for the music for the podcast. Catch you in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.